United States has just hit Iran and Venezuela with a new wave of sanctions. And it's all about drones, missiles, and deadly weapons. You're watching TimesXP. My name is Rityatri, and let me narrate what really happened here. On Tuesday, the US Treasury Department announced sanctions against 10 targets involved in weapons trade between Iran and Venezuela. Now, this was not just paperwork that we are talking about. These sanctions are aimed at people, at companies, and entire networks that help Iran and Venezuela get drones capable of war. But you know why this matters? John Hurley, United States Treasury Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, said that we are holding Iran and Venezuela accountable for their aggressive and reckless proliferation of deadly weapons around the globe. In fact, he warned that we will continue to take swift actions to block Iran's military-industrial network from using the US financial system. Basically, in short, money and weapons flow, it will be hit really bad. Here are the companies that are targeted. Quds Aviation Industry, QAI, Iran. The Iranian company, it makes combat drones. It coordinates with Iran's defense and armed forces, specifically their logistic ministry here, which was already sanctioned. Empresa Aeronautica Nacional SA, Venezuela. This Venezuelan company imports, assembles, and maintains Iranian drones for the Venezuelan armed forces. These are the drones that are not toys. They can launch air-to-ground guided bombs. In fact, key players' chairs, they were also sanctioned, meaning that the people in charge now face serious US restrictions. In fact, 3 Iran-based individuals, they were sanctioned for procuring chemicals used in ballistic missiles for Parchin chemical industry. Several other Iranian chemical companies, they were also sanctioned for producing weapon-grade chemical. But you know why the US is so concerned right now? Tommy Pigott, US State Department Principal Deputy Spokesperson, said that Iran's ongoing provision of conventional weapons to Caracas, it is a threat to the US interests in our region. He also added that these entities show that Iran is actively proliferating the combat drones and illegally procuring the missile-related items despite the UN sanctions. Basically, in other words, Iran is still arming Venezuela with high-tech drones and missile material, and the US wants to stop it. And what this means on the ground? Well, sanctions freeze assets in the US. Well, they block access to American banks. Companies and individuals targeted will struggle to trade internationally. The flow of drones, missile chemicals, and the weapons, they can actually slow down significantly as well. In simple words, the US is saying that we will not let Iran sell deadly drones and missiles to Venezuela. Anyone helping them will actually lose access to the US financial system. This is global chess game, ladies and gentlemen. Iran continues to build and export combat drones. Venezuela wants advanced weaponry. The US is now hitting both money and logistic networks to stop them.